Hey, that might work a little bit better. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Speaking of Schmoedown. Hopefully you didn't see that I am going bald there. I just realized that's why I never am ever on camera without a hat on, to be completely honest. I'm going bald. In my teen years, I had long jet black hair that was down in the middle of my back. It was like a magnificent flowing mane that still never picked up any chicks. But that's a whole other show. Here today, we've got, as usual, Double D, my numbers guy. How you doing, Dan?
Oh, I'm doing well, but things could be better, but I'm glad to be here.
Good. I don't know why you think they could be better. We'll talk about that here when we talk about the matches. You sneak, you. Maple Dan is here as well from Schmoes of the North, guest co-hosting once again. How you doing, bud?
Not bad. It seems to be a semi-regular occurrence coming now, and it's so great to be on this show all the time because you guys are great, and I'm just happy to talk Schmoedown as much as possible.
Well, thank you very much, and we love having you on the show as well. And also, what I have to get into my beef with Dan here in a few minutes. You run that fantasy league, so I might have voice words for you too, sir. And Frenchie is not here this week, but stepping in and helping out behind the scenes, producing for us here. Also from Schmoes of the North, another one of those guys. Soda is here. How's it going, bud?
Thanks for letting me step in for Lou. It's always fun to be on this show, but this time I actually get to watch it as a spectator behind the scenes, so this is going to to be awesome. You can consider me the other Frenchie.
The other. Okay. However you want to play it, man.
Honestly, I'd bump him up to other Frenchie, and I'm other Frenchie.
Yeah, but I'm
the
Quebec,
Anglophone.
So. True.
Yeah. I don't even know where Quebec is.
Home of the poutine.
Canada. I just don't know where
that way. For me,
pretty big.
Yeah. If you look at New York and you go north.
If you look at a map of Canada,
that's north for me.
It's the one with the penis.
Yeah, it's right. It's the one with the penis. It's like Florida.
Oh, okay.
It's the dangler.
That should be very easy to find. Thank you very much. Everyone, please subscribe to this channel if you're on YouTube. If you're on the stereo, please subscribe or follow there as well. You can do that on the stereo at the Jcast Network. And on Twitter, also at the Jcast Network, there's also a Facebook page, Speaking of Schmoedown, where the shows is actually streamed there live as well, and put up clips throughout the week. Okay, guys, we got some matches to talk about. Soda,
I'm gonna hop out.
Yep, get the hell out of here, buddy. We'll talk to you a little bit later. Okay, guys, so we had some matches this week, our second week of matches, and dude, if this season is anything like this, yeah. And actually, our first match is the one, Dan, you with that shit-eating grin on your face. My Dan, Double D. Okay, so Maple Dan down here runs a Schmoedown fantasy league for us. Well, not for us, but that I'm in the league, and so is Double D. Thank you very much for that, Dan. Having a great time so far. Okay, so I had my strategy, okay? And I'll just be honest, I had my strategy. I always wanted Saul. I've always been a big fan of Saul. But he didn't fit into the earlier draft picks of my strategy. And on top of that, I had made some draft pick trades and ended up making my first 4 trades in the first 2 rounds. Therefore, I wasn't in like round 3, 4, 5, 6 or something like that. So right before I was going to get Saul, Double D over here swoops in rather, and scoops him up. And I later on, and I'm not complaining. I mean, I'm most likely going to drop him now, but John Humphrey is who I ended up picking up later, who played Saul. First of all, about the match itself, dude, Saul just proved again for the second time that he has got a bright future in the Schmoedown. He is going to be an inner geekdom star. And I can't wait till he eventually makes that transition into Star Wars. That's what I'm really looking forward to. But dude, what were you guys' thoughts on this match? Because Saul absolutely crushed it.
Yeah, I will say that he did perform very well. And as soon as the second round was, I'm like, I'm very happy. I'm kind of knew it was going to go. I kind of figured it was like, okay, this is getting in knockout territory. But I would say that he needs to improve round 2, because I felt like I especially with that Spider-Man question when he had a chance to steal from John, he got confused because Peter was the one that got the cranberry sauce, and he answered cranberry sauce. I'm like, no, it's not that. I'm like, it's either turkey or stuffing. I don't think he brought the turkey, so it's got to be stuffing. I did that in my head. So I think he just needs to take an extra second, look at it, and kind of say, did Peter the one that took the cranberry sauce, or was it
But wasn't the actual answer fruitcake?
No, I think Jonathan said that.
I thought both.
If I'm correct.
I thought one answered stuffing, one answered cranberry sauce, and the answer was fruitcake. And the thing that I thought in that moment was, of course he brought fruitcake. He's the villain. That was your first
maybe I'm wrong. I don't even remember the answer, but I kind of eliminated. I'm like, I don't think it could have been one or the other, but I felt so. I'm like, if you took an extra second to realize maybe it was fruitcake, maybe it was stuffing, I don't remember, but I think he could have took it out a little bit more if he had more time, and obviously he came out with the top win with the KO, scoring me 4 points and costing Jay 1 point. So.
But I have more to say about that. But we have a stereo comment, and also, by the way, guys on stereos, you can keep leaving those comments. I don't think I'm certain we won't be taking any when Chance is on. We may take some while Saul is on, though, for sure. But go ahead and leave those comments and let us know. But we got one here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dagan. Just wanted to shout out, say hey. Really, really enjoy listening to your show every week. It's become a weekend tradition for me to tune in and really enjoy hearing all you guys talk about Schmoedown. Loving the matches so far. Man, Saul is not messing around this season. That guy is hungry for that IG belt. Look out for Saul.
Yes. Thank you, Dagan, for your support. Appreciate it very much. And he's right. Saul ain't messing around this season, but really, I mean, he wasn't messing around last season either. He almost had Hannah. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that's still, well, I know it still eats at him. I watched him on Let's Get Ready Network last night. If you guys have not seen that, you guys on the show and anyone listening or watching now, last night on Let's Get Ready Network, they had Saul on, and it was, like Christian tweeted out today, it was absolutely amazing. It was really, really good. And I can't wait till the Saul show invades here a little bit later on after we have Chance Ellison, after some other stuff. But, dude, okay, Dan, I can't let this go, man, because I really wanted Saul. Peek behind the curtains, I tried to make a last-minute trade for Saul. And by last minute, I mean it was Sunday night, because you and I are both patrons, so I knew I couldn't wait until Monday or Tuesday, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, I got it. I tried to trade 2 people for him, Did I ever throw in a third? Because if I didn't,
No, you only threw in 2. And honestly, the only way that I was going to trade Saul away is if you gave me Alex Damon. I'm like, but you know what? I've got Andrew Demalanta, and he's going to win that match. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all.
Oof, hot takes there, Andrew DiMolanta. I mean, he's a great player, but
I got a feeling.
I've been talking to him behind the scenes, and we're working on getting him on the show. He'll be on the show here. I'm sure we'll probably be able to get him on here sometime in March, April. I should know April's my birthday month, and I'm looking at what's after March? I got to start with January, work my way to April. We got another comment here. Let's see what's going on.
Harper here. Now that we're a couple, 2-3 matches into the IG season, what are your collective thoughts about how this expanded field is lining up in terms of the questions, these new categories? We're getting to see a little bit more of it. Interested to hear your thoughts.
Well, I will say that as far as me personally, my thoughts, the questions have been absolutely stellar. In fact, I had invited Abby Friel. She wasn't able to make it to come on to give some question writer love out there and appreciation. PJ Campbell, if you happen to hear this or anyone knows him, I'd love to have him on as well. Questions have been off the hook. One in particular, I can't remember how it was worded, but when it was talking about the what ship that Ray wanted to use to get off of Jakku, and the first thought would be the Millennium Falcon because that's what they use, and you're just like, if you're a fan, you're like, that's an awesome ship. Of course, that's it. No, that was the garbage ship, if you remember. So that question in particular. I absolutely love that question. It's one of those that if you aren't really thinking about it and you don't repeat it in your head a couple times, you might just miss that. But what do you guys think about the questions so far this season?
I mean, they've been there. But it was actually really good. I'm very impressed with how it's worded. I don't feel like there's any repeat. Like you have to really think about it, but there's no error in what the writers are intending for the question. It's very clear. But you still have to think about it for a second. There are a few things that I think we will talk about later that I'm like, really? They asked that in that particular time, but it's very small. It's very few that in between. And I don't see that happening too much, especially with the final rounds. I feel like a 2-pointer is a 2-pointer. It's a very easy question. 3-pointers are a little bit harder, and 5s are very, very difficult. But there is one instance where I'm like, really? That's a 5-pointer? But only one instance, though.
And as for the categories themselves, as he was asking about, as I have always loved the Inner Geekdom division because it's the one I do best in, and I'm young enough and I've seen a lot of those big singles movies, but I have not seen the vast majority of them, and a lot of them I don't remember because I saw them once. I was way too young to be watching those movies. My dad is quite a film buff himself, so we've definitely seen a lot of the big classics, but I don't remember all of them. But seeing a couple of these things leak into the Inner Geekdom and the fact that they really do fit the IG mold of I think of IG as an expansive universe that has a very dedicated fan base. So there are still a couple of things that could be added in years coming that we will have a particular an IG movie isn't just a sci-fi fantasy movie or a comic book movie. It's expanding into a cultural movie. And I still want to advocate for Disney animated musicals because it's such a niche, huge fan base that it is the geekiest thing you can do. is love those musicals. And even though it's a category I would suck at.
Well, and I definitely like the few categories that I have in my segment. I do talk about some of those added categories, and I feel like, yeah, these definitely fit in IG, even though like maybe 2 years ago it was heavily with comic book movies and sci-fi fantasy, and it's like, yeah, it really does. It wouldn't fit. It doesn't fit comic books, but it does fit sci-fi fantasy, like Alien and Predator, Planet of the Apes, those really fit in IG, and yeah, they fit very well in there.
Yeah. There was one other thing I wanted to mention before we moved on to the Brother Loomis and Alvarez matches, or match rather. For the life of me, it slipped right out of my my hollow head. It had something to do with something. Oh, the questions. I was just gonna say the only thing that I've seen as far as questions is the Superman question, the movie title question. But that was they responded to it very quickly. It was an understandable response. It was handled very well. And then really on that one, and a lot of the calls, if not all of them, but I like to take them on a call by call basis. You know what I mean? But it just shit, and it just went out of my hollow head again. Oh no, it comes out of the managers. I'm sorry. I got so much stuff going on in my head right now. I'm thinking like 2 segments ahead. It's really weird. But no, that's on the managers. You know, we got a solid explanation as to why that Superman question was written the way it was, and that's fine. It happens. Human error, man. But really, ultimately, it does come down to the manager, and they hold the final challenge in their hand.
I'll
So
also say that it's also the competitors as well. They can actually say, "Hey, I'd like to challenge as well."
Yes,
so
but I mean, even if they don't
Yeah.
say it, the manager is the one who has the final say. So
yeah. But I think with some managers, you might have to perk them up a little bit. Say, "Hey, I give them some kind of red flag to say, hey, I think this is wrong." Because
I was about to say, the managers are good managers, but they're managers for a reason, and that reason is because they don't. And I don't want to. I'm trying to think of there is nothing rude about what I'm trying to say, but they are not a caliber player to play at the level of the Schmoedown. Let's just face it. There's a reason why they're managers.
Can I make a hockey analogy for a second?
Do it, man.
Go ahead.
Well, for one, like, they're specifically managers of the team. They're not coaches. And hockey is one sport that those are very distinct, like, categories. And the manager assembles a roster, and it's the coach that would, like, be able to understand hockey plays. General managers don't watch the game on that high a level. They just assemble people through their scouting, and like it's hard to be both of those things at once, and it's an edge for Sam Levine, and like there's really not much you can do about it other than, like, through osmosis, training with your players will make you better at movie trivia and will make you be able to catch those technicalities.
Yeah, but I would say that the Schmoedown managers are similar to coaches in what real sports is like. I mean, they have to kind of pick them up. They have to kind of train them a bit, and they have to study with them. I think even Winston was training all of his members, especially Chandru. So I feel that, managers in the Schmoedown are coaches in other sports, in our sports.
Oh yeah. And actually that will do it for that. We got to move on to Double D's segment called Sexy Numbers, but we will touch on the Brother Loomis and the Frankie Alvarez match on the back half of the show with Saul. We'll get his opinions on that one too, since he'll be here. He's always fun to talk to. I have a feeling he's going to slap me around a little bit.
Always a pleasure.
Now everybody, Double D and his sexy numbers. What's on the agenda for today, buddy?
All right. First, I would like to make an announcement. We usually, for for the past few weeks, we've been doing leaderboard updates as well as forecast updates. We're going to be limiting that to once a month, where the forecast will be at the beginning of the month, and we're going to review the leaderboard at the end of the month and see where my prediction is, whether it's right or close to or accurate or wrong, and we'll review why it's right and wrong. But this week, other weeks will be like other topics, like how a competitor's average changed through the years, and other topics that we will discuss to keep it more exciting and more fresh throughout the entirety of the show. So for this week, Frenchie asked me behind the scenes, because of last week, we did categories, how frequent a category appeared for the last 3 years in each division. And he asked me, are there any categories that are surface level, like very easy questions that you can be asked in a specific category left? Now, with singles, you really can't do that because the frequency of the change of categories happens too frequent. Same thing with teams, and there's some categories that don't even get mentioned anymore. So it's very difficult to get surface level questions from those categories. Star Wars, same problem, because it's such a deep dive right off the bat that you really have to know your Star Wars in order to answer these questions. But IG is in that Goldilocks zone where it's been around for long enough and have a consistent amount of categories where we can actually kind of interpret the data a little bit to form this to answer this question. So let's bring up the graphic. Now, last week we said that Wizarding World, which is Harry Potter and the Fantastic Beasts franchise, they appear the most. So obviously those movies are going to be very on the high end of deep dive. You really have to know your Harry Potter movies and Fantastic Beasts movies in order to answer these questions, and I think that makes sense. MCU and Marvel have been combined this season because there's influx of new categories this season. So MCU and Marvel movies are combined. So those are going to be very deep dive as well. Same thing with, I think, DCU and DC films and Middle Earth. Yeah, you got to know your Middle Earth if you're going to get that category. The other categories that I have listed here is movie release dates, who said it, scores and soundtracks. Those are very specific categories, and you got to know those really are deep dive. Those are probably some of the toughest ones, and that's why they don't appear as much, because people try to avoid it. Now, the next category that's on the far left, Alien vs. Predator, Planet of the Apes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Transformers. These are new categories that haven't appeared yet in IG. We did see Planet of the Apes appear last night with Chance Ellison versus Brendan Meyer. And if you've seen the movies, they were really easy to answer if you've seen it. I will say that you have to see the movies in order to answer it, and you can kind of figure out if you go to multiple choice. So I feel that, Alien versus Predator, those movies, Alien versus Predator, Planet of the Apes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, and Transformer movies, and others like that, where there are specific franchises, very narrow categories, very specific franchises, and they're newer. Those are going to be the categories that you're going to be looking for. So we can take that down now. So if you are a competitor in this division, and you are in any division, if you are looking for surface level questions, your best bet is probably looking for newer categories that are very specific franchises, such as Alien vs. Predator, Transformers, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because they haven't been introduced yet. So what are your thoughts, Maple Dan, on this?
Well, mostly I wanted to bring up that, yes, the Planet of the Apes movie questions were on the easier side, but it was also rolling that category in the singles division rather than the IG one. And we saw that earlier in singles with a Middle Earth slice being rolled, and that was relatively the same thing. Was just
I found it very difficult, but
like, well, like I found one of the questions to be very difficult, but having watched those movies many times, I happen to know the answers to most of the others. So it's kind of a thing. And Ben Goddard also mentioned he would have loved to get a Middle Earth in singles, because those questions are for the fans of the series and for any IG player very easy to hit. So like those categories are going to be immense like strengths for IG specific players in the singles division, more than I think they will be in the IG.
Very good point. Because I mean, I haven't seen the Middle Earth franchise in a while, and I mean, I like them, but it's not like I'm like reading all the books and like I am with Harry Potter. So you're probably right. So maybe that will be a bit advantage in singles. Like if you're a Harry Potter fan and Wizarding World appears in singles or teams, maybe there'll be surface level questions there too. So it really depends on what questions get asked. But I feel that if they are going to be asked, and it has been around for a while, it's going to be a deep dive. You have to know your stuff. But I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. This is just with statistics, we never prove anything. We just see things as likely. So it may be true, but it's also possible that it's not true.
And also there's the figure of like, they keep adding just as many categories to the singles division. Soon we're going to have so many of those, like with the new amount of new ones they added this year, you can always do like a Ben Bateman thing of picking a couple of slices and really nailing them down and pulling them out as surprises. And I'd love to see that start to happen in the IG a little bit with these introductions of new franchises. And like the Swashbuckling Adventure Slice is a great example of that. Yes. Like just them being able to kind of find a new niche, and you can pick up that category, and it's more than 5 movies, which every IG competitor is watching the TMNT series, because it's small, it's a subset of movies, you study that and you ace those questions.
Yeah, exactly.
But Swashbuckling Adventure is a bit of a larger beast to tackle all at once, but if you're already a fan of one of the series, you just need to watch the other one. And I'd love to see some more competitive edges come out in the IG this year, and I think they will.
Yeah, and we actually do have a lot of categories in singles and teams as of right now. Of course, some of them have been retired. Well, when I was compiling the list last week, I mean, it was like a mile long. I had to actually combine like all the decades together. I had to combine individual actresses together, all the individual actors together, individual directors together, and those were the top 5 in both teams and singles. So it's and there's a lot of actors and actresses and directors to pull questions from, and that could be, you can look at IMDb, their list of top wrong, so you're increasing your range as well for those categories. So,
and now they've started to like mix up the round 1 categories as well on a consistent basis. So you can't even do what Sam Levine did back in the day and really study your weakness in animated, knowing that there's always an animated question coming up. Now,
I mean,
now we've got.
I did see that improve that change, and I'm like, yeah, there's always an anime, there's always a mixed bag, there's always comedies. It's like, it's kind of repetitious at this point, but they are mixing it up, and I like that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they pull up in future segments, because some of them have been real great questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you back, Jay?
I made the decision to come back, huh?
Well, I mean, I had to say something because, dude, hella good job to the question writers this season. For real, man. I've been like, for real, man. And that's not to say that the questions have ever been bad or poor or anything like that, but I mean, this is like when Christian calls the movie trivia Schmoedown elite movie trivia, this is what makes it elite. This is one of the things that makes it elite is the question writing. It's amazing. Yeah, thank you, Double D. It's two Dans. It's really weird. Thank you, Double D, for that. We're actually going to get into some Schmoeminati talk now before our guest Chance Ellison arrives. And there we go. Yeah, Stodo is back. Okay, so I meant to bring up this graphic or upload it again so I could bring it up again, but I honestly forgot. But I did a few weeks ago. Maple Dan, you were here from the last scene from the the spectacular, and there were handprints on the wall behind Andrew Guy, and we got into this whole Schmoeminati discussion. Well, we got another scene of Andrew Guy. Apparently, he has gone somewhere and woken up in the past. Because he for some reason thinks that Team Action is on their way to do some damage in the Schmoedown. But Double D, I know you had said last time that you had looked really carefully at some stuff. How carefully did you examine this scene? Did you spot anything? Do you have any new theories?
Well, I have a difference of opinion. I think someone rebooted him to factory settings. That's what I think. Where he's back to his where he was built to his factory settings. We're like, yeah, Team Action's going to be the best. Where's the belt, baby? That's my take on it. But I didn't have enough time to actually analyze it fully because I started a new job, so it was very difficult to look at it with a magnifying glass. But that's my take on that, is that someone just pressed the reboot starting on Andrew Guy, and we're back to whatever year he was at. So
yeah, and also, by the way, our stereo listeners, thank you very much. Leave us your comments right now, especially. Let us know your thoughts on the Schmoeminati. Who's behind it? Anything you've noticed, Easter eggs, clues, anything. This is all very interesting to me.
I know it's not going to happen, but I don't know. Part of me really wants Mark Ellis to be the head of the Schmoeminati.
That would be really cool, man.
I find it very weird that a couple of seasons ago we're having a similar storyline from seasons past, where Christian doesn't read the fine print and someone is his new boss. It's like and it just made me feel weird that when we had Winston on here, he said we had a chance to draft that. I'm like, and I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen. I'm just saying it's weird that we're seeing this repetition of storyline. And now that Grace is...
But that's a wrestling thing. Like every couple of years, you get a repetition of the same storylines.
Okay.
It's curious.
Be a hint that Thad is behind it all.
It's curious that you bring up Thad, because you said rebooting him to factory settings, but that would have been their match against the Night Sisters, not their match against Team Trek. Their match against Team Trek came just after a win against Deep Cuts, the team of Thad Williams and Aaron Wilhelm.
Whoa.
Oh.
Real quick, we got a stereo comment here. Let's see what's going on, what they think.
So Andrew Guy is one of the few players in the league that seems like he's declined in play and knowledge over the years. He seems like he got worse and worse. Is this the Schmoeminati's way to revert Guy back to his 2017 self? The Andrew Guy that beat Dan Murrell, the Andrew Guy that competed for the team's belts. Is this their way of trying to turn Andrew Guy into a threat by making him back to his 2017 self? Kind of a weird theory.
Maybe. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Dan, Double D, now when you say they rebooted him, are you trying to say that you think he's an actual robot?
Hey, I could be a robot for all I know.
Yeah. It's like It's like in Toy Story 3 where they reset Buzz Lightyear.
Right. Now, okay. I kept watching this after seeing the hands on the wall, in the one scene. Now I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at the bottle of alcohol that's on his nightstand. I'm just trying to see or notice anything. I didn't notice anything that I can connect to anything else, but that's mainly because I'm not the most knowledgeable.
Oh, I'm trying to remember. Someone posted something on the Facebook page where Andrew Guy was Ben Bateman was like, "Where have you been?" And Andrew was like, "Where have you been?" Oh, shut up! Or he said something like that, and I think that's very suspicious. Like maybe I feel like that's a clue somewhere. I feel like someone is trying to signal us to that. But
I want to give a shout out to the line. Where's your mask? Why does everyone keep asking me that?
yeah. That's why I said someone rebooted them, because in 2017 we weren't in a pandemic, so it makes more sense. Or
They were clearly trying to get rid of, because he did find out who was behind everything, and he was about to reveal it before he was captured.
Yeah.
So they definitely were removing his memories, but that's not like an exact science or anything. So I don't know if it's intentional that they set him back so far, or if they were just trying to take out the knowledge of the Schmoeminati, or
maybe it's something like
the even scarier thing.
They zapped his brain and it just went too far back, and it was just, oops, we made a mistake.
Maybe.
Well, the even scarier thing is that it started way back, sometime right after the point in which he is reverted to, and maybe they were forming through that whole series of events that happened through anarchy and all of that, and they had to send him all the way back because maybe he's been digging for years. We don't know what mission Andrew's been on this whole time.
What do you think about this, Ellis being the leader and working with Grace?
I was wondering if maybe Skybound was behind all of this. One, he was abducted at the Skybound building. Two, these guys now come in and are trying to make these moves, removing Christian at least from a little bit. Maybe not removing his power, but putting someone more powerful over him that can dictate to him what is going to happen and not.
I think it's more likely that Skybound is a pawn in this than they are behind it.
Well, yeah. I'm kind of wanting to go, and I'm going to take stereo here real quick, but I kind of want to think maybe when Christian got in and they joined forces, Skybound got that greedy, like, man, we really like this. We see a lot of potential with this. Let's just take this from Christian and make it our own. I don't know, man. We'll see, but let's see what this stereo comment thinks.
Do you guys think what's happening with Grace is somehow connected to the Schmoeminati? I see that theory going around a little bit, and I'm not so sure. I think the Grace thing is separate from the Schmoeminati, but it's an interesting thought.
Maple Dan?
I don't know. I just looked up Skybound here and found out that their name is Skybound Entertainment. Skybound Skynet. Oh my god.
That's a little bit of a leap.
They're taking over, guys.
Well, I mean, I think that, it could be a red herring, but at this time I'd be double thinking myself. But I really do think that Grace is working with the Schmoeminati. I mean, she was working with the Lions Den, and we've seen how we just see how destructive they were back in the heyday. So I think that was the cue. Like, yeah, a mysterious group. Yeah, what other mysterious group has there been in the Schmoedown other than the Schmoeminati? So I feel that, yes, Grace is part of the Schmoeminati, or at least working with them, maybe being used as a pawn to kind of throw Harloff like a monkey wrench in the works. But we're just going to have to wait and see how this is going to unfold.
I wonder, okay, I'm a little curious to what Ryan means by this, because I am a wrestling fan. I live WCW versus WWF. I'm wondering what he means by this. Is this like invasion angle WCW?
WWF ended up, if I'm correct, if I remember this correctly, WWF and the WCW started. They were fighting each other and all that. They ended up having like some people left one and went to the other, vice versa. In the end, I'm pretty sure WWF bought out WCW.
Yeah.
They merged and started WWE.
That is all 100% correct. But then when they started doing the invasion angle, they had WCW, well, the lesser stars of WCW come in, and then they had people that were were moles in the WWF camp that switched over to the WCW. That's more what I'm wondering is if it's in that vein that he is referring to.
I'm not sure, but I would love to see something like that where there is a rival league like that. You know what I mean? That storyline would be great, but I think now is too soon to start introducing that because you don't have a rival league. You need to build one up first, wouldn't you?
What if it's just one faction? What
Like
if it's a faction that is splintering from its manager and trying to replace them with somebody else?
No. Here's a thought. It's Brad.
I was just thinking that.
With FCL.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. Is that the first class league is another family.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
But here's another thing. Here's another thought. Remember Brian Chandler when she came up with a list of all the people who were gonna sign on? They were gonna leave if Thad didn't remove Mike or whatever.
Yeah.
What if that's also part of this?
Maybe. That's going back a ways, but maybe.
I know, but it's like planting the seeds.
Yeah, who knows?
So what if we combine these and we've got Skybound is in on it, Grace is in on it, Thad is in on it, Ellis is in on it, and then if a faction is in on it, I'm not saying this just because our guest is in this faction, but Corruption would be the faction that I would imagine would it's in the title, Corruption. They want to start shit and stir the pot. I don't know. What other faction other than Corruption could it be?
Chandra's new faction taking over.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at when I was saying a faction that is trying to replace its manager currently, and it's just gonna be Skybound invading, or Schmoeminati invading,
maybe,
or whatever.
But this is what Ryan. This is what Ryan meant with the WCW thing. So it would be the invasion angle where, so it'd be invasion WCW where all of them are technically WWF, but you'd have one side Schmoeminati, one side. Gotcha.
Yeah, that
would be fun. It would be fun.
Yeah.
So of all the people that we've mentioned that could be behind it, who do you guys think it should be, or like who do you want it to be? Like I'm kind of favoring the Mark Ellis angle, dude. That really sounds cool and interesting to me.
It does, but after talking a little bit about Gilmore, after hearing Harloff say multiple times he thinks that the guy who should replace him is Gilmore, I think this is the best way to actually do that.
Yeah, I'm kind of saying with all that.
Yeah.
What if Ellis is behind it all and he recruited Gilmore?
Maybe
doing it so that he and Gilmore can run the show.
Yeah, more than one cook in the kitchen. I mean, anything is possible.
Yeah, just it being an Illuminati-esque, whether we're talking like the real life version or the like Tony Stark comic, it's always a group of individuals that we're talking about. So we are always looking for the head, but maybe we're not casting a wide enough net. And I do believe there's the potential for multiple people to be the Schmoeminati that we're all talking about.
You want to cast a wide net. I'm about to cast a wide net here. We got like 1 minute left before we bring in Chance. Played a great match yesterday. Do we think that Finstock, Bobby Gucci could pull something like this off? I mean, you said cast the net wide. I don't have much faith in the guy to do anything that matters in the Schmoedown, to be honest with you. But I mean, what do we? Is it possible he could have something to do with it or be the mastermind?
He's probably taking credit for it.
Oh yeah.
Maybe his mask.
Oh,
Like the Finstock
floating
mask
mask.
is sentient, and it just whoever's wearing the mask is the
Bro,
leader of the
that's a
Schmoeminati.
better angle.
great way to bring back Finn Draco.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, that's going to do it for our Schmoeminati talk. We're definitely going to have discussions about this more as the season progresses and we see more stories about it. But Soda, thank you very much for joining us for that conversation. And now, everybody, we have got Chance Ellison from Corruption, who's going to join us. There we go. Hey, what's up, buddy?
How you doing? Hey, good to be here.
Now, because you heard the tail end of that discussion, I want to ask you, and it's obviously half jokingly, but is Corruption as a whole in some way involved in the Schmoeminati?
I will neither confirm nor deny our involvement in Schmoeminati.
Good answer. Good answer.
I like it. How you doing, Chance? Thanks for your time.
I'm doing well. But thank you for having me.
Yeah. How you feeling today after that match that dropped yesterday?
I feel great, man. It feels great to have that out in public now.
Yeah. I want to ask a question that really I want to get us started just because, or ask a question that doesn't really have to do with the match from last night.
Okay.
It was a great match, and we talked about that. But I was just curious because you're in a team with Kalinowski, and you guys want at Shazam, I'm sure, pretty damn bad.
Mm-hmm.
But as of now, there aren't any official teams that have been announced that I'm aware of. But have you looked at the faction rosters, and are there any potential teams that you think that you guys might need to be on the lookout for this season?
I mean, yeah, they're the obvious ones. You have Liz and Ethan. You have Bateman and Merle probably going to be the dungeon team. Finn's actually going to be an interesting one because they have like a circuit. They have like 3 people, any 2 of which could be a solid team. But yeah, that's not in our control, not in our decision. So we got to be ready for it. We got to be ready for anything.
Yeah, for sure. What is it like? And not detailed, but like maybe a vibe. But like, what is it like after you've played the match and it's you, Shannon, and Mike on a call? I would imagine you shoot the ball for a little bit and celebrate. What is that feeling like? Because you all 3 have such explosive personalities. Especially when you win, it shows very much. I just can imagine the dogs are barking and there's some music jamming and y'all are having a party. What's it like for you guys?
I mean, it's part party, part also like business meeting because we tape these matches like a couple on a day, so we look over the notes, we see what's going on, what we need to fix, what we need to change in order to stop. Like if we win or lose, like why do we win, why do we lose, what are we good at? But it is more of a laxed space after day shooting after we won a couple.
That's great.
All right, so Chance, with Corruption, it's been established for many years now, but we've had multiple managers managing Corruption. With Shannon being the person that's managing now, what did you learn from Grace and Ken when they managed Corruption?
How to talk. That's exactly how I learned what I learned from Grace and Ken. Ken actually taught me a lot of really important things about just like cutting that I haven't forgotten. Like anything he's told me, I've never forgotten in what I do right now. But yeah, that was it. They were really like, and I love Grace and Ken, but like they're more like figureheads. Whereas Shannon, and she's a manager, she's a coach, and she's like putting out. She's working for her team, which is that's basically what managers have to do right now because this is basically evolved into a team sport. This isn't an individual thing anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess I'll ask like kind of looking at your road to a singles belt.
Mm-hmm.
You've now like corrected your record, brought it back to 500. You're going to be pushed towards that road very shortly if you keep winning matches.
Right.
I keep wondering, like, do you go for the triple threat or do you wait for Adam to possibly lose the belt if he ever does, and just take a revenge match for him. It's been on my mind a lot lately, and I just wanted to ask somebody who might be doing it this year.
I don't know. That's a tough one because the triple threat sounds enticing. I would love to participate in triple threat, which I don't think. Have we had one of those since? Oh, last one was Dan
Merle,
Brennan,
yeah.
That was the last one we had of those in recent memory. But yeah, looking at my options for that, I'm not sure because I also got to think about points because I think that I can't just take on Adam as a whole. Like, I gotta bring in someone else to even it up. I think depending on like whether say I get a title shot, depending on whether or not that expired, I'd probably be inclined to use it more quickly. So like if say I had the title shot and I had no expiration date, then I'm just gonna like sit back, let Adam do his thing, and then if he loses, then I'm just gonna take it right back for him. But if it does, like you have like a year to use this, like at the end of that year, whoever has that belt, I'm taking him on. I don't care who it is.
Well, that's the way to be, man. And also, there's nothing else you can do about it. You can't control other people's gameplay, but God, dude, I had that issue. I had earlier. Double D. I went right in and out of my head what I was about to say.
You need to write it down and put it up in head.
Oh, I know. I'm kind of starstruck, man. I've been a fan of yours for a while.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, I remembered everybody. I remember what I was going to ask you. I've been calling for a 3-way teams match for a long time. I think it would be extremely fun. Now, obviously, the only two teams I'm aware of, we know for sure, is you and Kalinowski and Shazam. So, but I want to ask, if there were a 3-way teams match of all of the teams in the history of Schmoedown, what other two teams would you want you and Kalinowski to play?
Patriots above the line.
Patriots and above the line.
Yeah, because
reason?
Because I think Mike and I are better than both of them, and I think I would love a chance to show out against both of them.
Okay, so you didn't put the Shire Wolves in because they're actually better than both of those teams too.
We've already beaten them.
I think I can actually prove you right, Chance. We did a bell graph of all the teams, and let's see. You and Corruption. Corruption is at the second, has the highest second average, and the Patriots are. Patriots are the 11th, and above the line is 16th. So yeah, you and Mike are number 2.
I mean, if you're looking at like 3 great teams of all time, the big 3, we've already beaten the Shire. We've already beaten one of them. The only reason I beat the other 2, they're not teams anymore.
Yeah.
So I would love for them to come back and show them that we are the greatest team of all time.
Oh yeah, maybe get some exhibition matches, some throwback teams come back, some throwback players come back, some exhibition matches. That'd be fun.
That'd be fun. I'd totally do like a throwback exhibition.
Oh yeah.
If those were the exhibitions one season coming up, just like legacy games, and you get to see like the Schmoes come back, you could watch like team action, play team champs. Who knows? Like that would be pretty fun.
That's a throwback.
Oh, that's going way back. All right. So my second question is obviously you did kind of struggle with that 5-pointer. Even though when you were going against Bits, I picked you to win. That was my last article on TriviaSD, that you were going to win against Bits.
You're the guy.
Is there anything you would change about that final round to give you a little bit of a strategy going forward in that final round?
Not really. Most matches I lose, I'm going into the final round leading, or at least tied.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like all the matches I've lost, the only one I was down going into the last round was Bibbs. Not Bibbs. Erwin. Erwin was the only time I've been down going to the final round.
Yeah.
And with round 3, it's not really like you can't really like strategize it. You just have to like pick something, and you just pick something, cross your fingers, and hope you know it.
Can I offer like what I was thinking about this? Like, let's say you choose your numbers; those are your numbers. You can't change them, but the announcers on the desk announces those categories to you, and you choose the order of those those questions that you're given to.
That'd be interesting. So say like I pick 3 numbers and like okay, your categories are
Like let's say
fantasy
let's
sci-fi
say-
release dates in classics, and
Yeah.
I pick like okay, I want this for my 2, this for my 3, this for my 5. Right?
Yeah.
That's what you're getting at.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it'd be
exactly
interesting.
what I'm
I think that'd be interesting. I think that would change the outcome of a lot of games.
Yeah.
Say that it would change the outcome of a lot of games.
And I
But-
think it wouldn't be quite manageable in the teams format because of the way you need to pick which person is taking the 2, not knowing the 3 yet. But if you got to choose all of them, you're just like, all right, best category for Chance.
It takes a lot of exactly, and it takes a lot of the randomness. So, but add that element of like, say you pick like a category that you're really good at for your 5. And you end up it's like, oh, this is something I've never even heard of. Oh, this is a bad move. But yeah, I mean, it does add an extra element of strategy. But I like the randomness of it. I think it's a really appealing element. I wouldn't be opposed to changing it up, but I do like the randomness of it.
Okay.
I was curious also with this huge pool of rookies that we've got this season. Is there any rookie in particular, or a couple, 2 or 3 that you really want to have a go at in a match?
Rookies I want to take down. I mean, no one jumps to mind immediately. I mean, if I want to go and smack around the Fan League 4, I'll go do it. Just show them who the real boss is. Let's see. I'll take on anybody the Finstock Exchange has. You really impressed by that? Impressed by your rookie class? Then with me. I'll show almost what. Anybody else? I'm trying to think like what other like big shot rookies people got. None that come to mind immediately, but yeah, I mean, this rookie test is gonna be it's gonna be fun. I'm ready to see what these guys got.
Yeah, I was highly impressed with Marie Wilson's match last week, and
she maybe the better player lost that day, but she played well.
Yeah. Well, for first getting some first looks at rookies, man. I mean, I don't. The only reason and doubting them isn't the right word.
Yeah, I said it, Peggy. What you want? Come at me.
But I don't know what these rookies have done. I don't follow fan leagues closely. I don't follow Dragon Con.
I know because like Mario and I'm friends with Mario. He's in my fantasy league, my fantasy basketball league, and I'm being his ass right now. So I can tell, even if I never play him on IG, I'm still being in fantasy basketball. So that's cool. I know Peggy. I don't know Jacoby and Christy very well, but they both seem like they both seem really cool. But yeah, I mean, this is as far as like fan league players go. I mean, you've seen what we can do. And now there's roughly around, I think, because before that it was just me. Okay, so there's another about double. So there's like 9 now between the 5 that are already established and then these new 4 coming in. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see like how if there's any like buzz, because like fan league right now, I think. I mean, even though if they haven't like achieved everything they can achieve in this league yet, I would still say like 5 for 5.
Right.
Yeah. I'm Blunt. I can't forget about Blunt. I'm my faction. I was just thinking of the Fan League 4. I'm sorry. I don't think Blunt is competition because he's a teammate.
I was actually about to bring him up because I just thought of the fact that Corruption has both the first fan leaguer to come up to the Schmoedown, and now with Jacob London, like the person who made the first fan league, which is kind of like an interesting move around.
Yeah, I know. I hate that. I had a whole dude. I had questions written out, and they're on my other computer. Does me no good. But take us back to that match if you could. Last night.
Yeah.
Were there any questions that you had a hard time with that you struggled to find the answer for?
I don't know what I was thinking about Bruce's Millions. I guess I just didn't. I didn't like process the year in my head, because like I've heard of that movie. Like if you give me the plot of the movie, and it's like, okay, who's like, what is this movie called? And give me the actor, I'd be like, oh yeah, Bruce's Millions. But I just for some reason like the opposite, that just like did not, because I'd never seen that film. I don't know why Chris Farley hopped in my mind, but I guess maybe I was thinking, like Time Bomb was in the back of my head, and thinking that maybe it was one of the ones he did like later in life that was like obscure or like very similar to that. But yeah, that's the one, and also the release dates one, which But that was one I was literally thinking about changing. Like I'm like I had 2006 written down. Like usually go my first instincts. Like 2006, and then the time was winding down. I'm like, no, wait, this isn't right. It's 2004, isn't it? But yeah, that's really the only two questions that I thought that I'm like, okay, yeah, those are tough. But if I maybe took another second to think about it, I might have gotten it.
What was the point in the match where you realized, or at least in your head, it was like, man, I got this. Like for sure, I won this thing.
I don't believe in a sure thing in this league because I've had several matches where like I'm taking the task and I still end up losing. But I feel like a turning point for me was when he whiffed that Oscar question for 2 points. Even though I didn't steal, that's 2 points off the board that he didn't get.
Yeah.
Which was a big thing. Like with a player like Brendan, you take everything you can get.
Yeah, I like him a lot. The only thing that I would say about him that I think hinders him is he gets a little too down on himself and flustered when he gets questions wrong. You can just tell he's beating himself up, and I think he lets that affect him a little bit too much. But I mean, as someone who's never ever spoken to him and only knows him through watching him in his matches, I could be completely wrong. But I think he beats himself up a little bit too much.
No, he doesn't. Like I've known Brendan for years at this point, and I think that he's a player who like when he knows when he gets something right, but it's the thing he gets wrong. And I'm the same way. It's when you get a question wrong, that's what sticks out in your mind. And so when you get something when you get something wrong that you knew, it's even worse. Especially like on that 2 point steal, I'm confident he would have had multiple choice because I would have had multiple choice because I just was not thinking. I was thinking like way too close together. I was trying to like run through the nominees of the past, like every year's nominees, trying to think like no. And then I just because I gave up, but I gave up and it's like, this isn't worth the effort. I'm not gonna burn a repeat on this because it doesn't matter. So I'll just burn the points. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So one question I wanted to know from last night's match: were you stalling on that last question, or did you know it?
The funny thing is, like when that question just got asked to me, my immediate thought was, "Oh, Antonio Banderas." I'm just like, wait a minute, is that too easy? Because I started thinking, is it Stephen Ray who's also part of that coven in the movie? Because I love that film. I haven't seen it in a while, but I'm just like, okay, this has to be Antonio Banderas, but like, why is Stephen Ray popping into my head?
Yeah,
I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go.
The same way. I'm like, it's Antonio Banderas, and then you like repeat the question. I'm like, what? It's Antonio Banderas. So I was just wondering if you were actually stalling, but I could tell like, that sounds a little too easy, but I just wanted to know.
But like, it's so easy you can throw yourself out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was the moment that I was like, okay, I think Chance has actually won this match. And like when I heard Interview with a Vampire, I don't know, like maybe I heard you mention liking the movie someplace else, but I was just like, okay, he's got this actually. And I was super happy to see you actually finally like get over that, whatever it is, like we'll maybe call it the yips, but I wouldn't call it that because I think you're one of the most consistent players in the game. And it's just a matter of number of matches before you get there. And it's so great to see like a reward for all of that hard work.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. I think the first like 5 point I've tracked I think the first 5 point I've answered correctly in like 2 years, and at least in singles because I've answered a ton right in teams, but I've never like as far as singles goes, I haven't answered a 5 right since Janine in New York.
Interesting. Did you know that stat, Double D? Don't answer that. We got another minute here. I got one last question for you, Chance. And dude, I'm seriously having a problem. I don't know what it is today. Everything's going smooth except just my memory keeps going in and out. Oh my gosh, terrible radio. I sincerely apologize.
It's all right.
Somebody say something real quick.
Yeah, I've got a question actually. because it is Women's Month this month anyway, we can talk about the 3 sophomores in your team. We got Marisol McKee, Clee Wiggins, and Claudia Dolph. Can you give us some insight? Like, I don't know if they've got matches lined up or anything, but who's really on fire this year? Who's ready to come out?
Definitely Marisol. I mean, we've been working with her like nonstop since even before she got drafted. We always knew we were gonna make a play to get her back. But yeah, she's someone she's just massively impressed me. And even like Clay and Claudia, I'll say it right now, they don't have matches on deck yet. We are really trying hard to get them a new match because we feel like they deserve a better shot than what they've been given in this league so far. And they're motivated. They want to play. They want to, like be successful in the league. It's a matter of like getting them a chance to showcase that. We're working very hard to make that happen.
Even in losses, both of them looked phenomenal last year. And without coronavirus, I'm sure they would have ended up getting some of those like correction matches.
Absolutely.
And if they had gotten, they could have easily been 1-1 and moving towards contention rather than just getting one match and not knowing where we're at yet.
And after that Black Cinema match, like people are really like putting Cleo over. So I think hopefully we'll see her get a match sooner rather than later.
And I did remember the question, and we will end it on this question. Going back to Dan's question, a follow-up to his question about whether or not you were stalling on that final question. How do you decide when you want to stall for suspense? Like, I mean, I'm sure sometimes you have to have some sort of thought process in your head, don't you? Like,
I do, yeah.
I want to now, or I just want to get it over with, or how does that go down?
It's honestly whether or not just like do I want to have fun? Just because I find stalling to be kind of fun. Just because, just keep him hanging. Just like oh, does he know it? Does he not? I'm like, and it's a bit of like a twist the knife moments when like you have the answer, but like you're keeping him on the edge. Something I thought about doing one time was like I'm like I know this. I'm gonna let the time run out. Like I'm gonna let the time run out just so you know that I know I'm not answering.
That's great. Again, thank you very much for your time today. Excellent match last night. Corruption is out of the gate strong. I have an alter ego named Jay Massacre, and he is a huge Corruption fan. I have a feeling he's going to be peeking his head out, especially maybe here pretty soon. I don't know. I've got some weird stuff going on up here with that, but big Corruption fan. Thank you very much. Good luck in the upcoming season, and love to have you on again sometime.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'll definitely come back. And yeah, you're all gracious. Appreciate the opportunity.
You want to plug something before you leave?
Say what?
You want to plug in something
Oh yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, listen to my podcast, Stars by Chance. Our episode, we're in the middle of theme month. Our theme this month is the Hunger Games. We're dropping our episode of Catching Fire today. If it's not out already, it'll be out later this afternoon. That's it.
Cool.
Excellent. Check that out, everyone. Chance Ellison from Corruption in the Schmoedown. Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
See you around.
And right now, everybody, we're going to do a really quick segment of hard questions before Saul gets in here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to boot Double D and Maple Dan the hell out of here, and we're going to bring Soda up on screen. And he and I are just going to have a very quick discussion here. Now, my original hard question for this week was, does the countdown clock need to be on screen? Like, should it be on screen? I have a specific reason why I think so. I asked Christian about it personally because I didn't want to make any assumption as to why it wasn't. I didn't want to assume that he didn't like it because I was misunderstood. I thought he was not in favor of it. He told me he actually is in favor of having the countdown clock on screen. And then it's a graphics thing, which I don't know any more than that, and it's none of my business. Thank you very much. At least I know, that Christian is in favor of it too. So I changed it up a little bit. How important is it, or does it even matter whether or not the countdown clock is on the screen. I say yes, and my main reason is for transparency. And this is not a knock on anyone, but I've done in the past shows where I've presented sound clips to show that it is true that sometimes when the JTE rule is used, the calls on that are not consistent. Meaning, one match can say JTE, and it's accepted, and then in the next match, someone can say it sooner than the other person did before, and it's not accepted. So for that reason, for transparency, I'm hugely in favor of that. Just kind of like a checks and balance thing for we fans for the sport. What do you think, Soda?
So, I mean, really, when it comes down to it, like, a lot of these things don't matter, but when it comes to the presentation of it, I really do think it does. And I'm going to use the example I used when we were discussing the original topic was the Royal Rumble. It is used as a tool so you can let fans know, and competitors as well, okay, coming up pretty damn quick, something is going to happen. So I think based on that sense, it is a needed tool. And basically it's just to help, yeah, you're right, to help with the consistency, because I don't time it, but sometimes you can tell, that amount of time allotted to this guy was a little bit longer than to this guy. So yeah, I do think it is an essential tool that should be needed, and I think it would help if it was on screen. Again, just so it alerts the fans that, okay, now we know something's coming up.
Yeah. And another thing that I'd like to throw out there is now in the countdown, Christian does say pins down, which kind of in a way represents 0. You know what I mean? I know this may come off as nitpicky. I personally feel that we need to hear the 0. I think we need to hear the full countdown. Anything said after the word 0 is not accepted. I know that's such a small, shitty thing.
Yeah. Like, that's something for me. Like, for me,
issue of it. I'm just saying that's just something that I think.
Yeah, for me, that doesn't really matter, because, like you said, pens down is 0. It's just like, is it 3, 2, 1, go, or is it 3, 2, go on 1? Sort of idea. It's just really, it comes down to semantics, more or less. And I do understand your reasoning for it, but I don't think it is it's a necessary evil.
Well, that's how I feel about it. That's how you feel about it. Actually, we are still waiting on the Saul show to invade. So we'll bring back up Double D and Maple Dan here and get their opinions on hard questions from this week. Double D and Maple Dan, what do you guys think about does it matter whether the countdown clock is on screen or not?
I think it is, because it gives, like you said, it's a visual representation. It's nice for the fans to see that actual countdown, because there have been matches from, like, I'm talking like season 4, season 5, where I felt like it was kind of quick, and then it was kind of long at some point. So I really felt like, was it actually 15 seconds? So having it on screen is better, because now we can actually see the countdown going down. And I know it's kind of tricky with doing it live matches, but obviously doing it for like what's pre-recorded, you can put that 15-second graphic up there, and it's just simple and it's easy and it's quick.
Right on. Maple Dan, not to cut you off on your answer on this, but Saul has arrived, and what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to boot all of these people out right now. All of these guys, I'm going to kick them all out, because Saul, Oh, Saul. Like I said, he might slap me around a little bit, but I don't care, because I'm old, and he woke me up at what time was it, dude? You woke me up last night at like 10:30 at night.
Shut up with your bullshit. I'm about to put you to sleep. Keep it up. This COVID thing's going to end soon, and everyone's going to have to answer for their actions. I don't forget shit like this.
Okay, fair enough.
Back to what happened to Soda Pop Curtis? Where'd he go? Where's everybody else? What is this? Private? What is this, the VIP room? I'm your favorite, so I get it's one-on-one time?
Saul, dude, if you would read the texts like actually read them, you would have seen that I said that I'm going to do a little one-on-one with you first.
I hate that you just told people that you have my phone number so much that I'm seething right now. I cannot express to you, stop telling people that. That's not cool for me. I got to.
How many times have do I ever call you? No. Do I ever bother you?
A lot of people call me. A lot of people call me. A lot of people bother me. So I don't know. I don't keep.
Am I one of them?
I'm busy. I'm a busy guy. I have a life.
Okay, dude, this ain't even about Schmoedown anymore. What the? That's fine with me. So you have a problem with me giving out the info that I have your phone number?
You said it again, asshole. I was kind of hoping people would hear this and think it was a joke, but now people know. Like, no, you said it again. It's probably true. Stop talking like that, all right? Isn't there some sort of match I'm supposed to disown right now?
Dude, talking about? When you agreed to stop replying to my text 12 hours later at 1 a.m. when I'm sleeping on a work night, then yes, perhaps
you should be up researching my match, knowing every nuance and detail. You got a heavy hitter guest on, and you're sleeping on the job. You're telling me that's a Brandon Hamill type move. Our heavy hitter guest just left, man. We just had Chance Ellison on. Yeah, what was the score of his match yesterday?
He won 2.
What was the score, Mr. Sleeping on the job?
It's about winning,
sleeping
right?
on the job.
It's about winning, right?
Yeah, he won. Right? He won a very good match. I watched every question. I was very entertained by it.
And you won a great match too.
I don't agree with that assessment, but we'll talk about that, I suppose.
Well, see, dude, I know. Seriously though, I know you're hard on yourself a lot, but in all reality, man. Myself and so many others, we saw proof for the second time that you are a future star in the Schmoedown. I understand you're hard on yourself. You're the one who played the match. You know what you're capable of, and you have issues with some of it. But dude, I mean, from we fans' standpoint, the vast majority of us just we love you, man, and we think you did a hell of a great job.
That means a lot. Look, no bullshit aside, that means a lot. Look, you are the alpha of the Saul show. You are the early adapter. You were the test group. You were the first guy to reach out. I remember you couldn't even get a hold of me for all those. Because look, you're growing. I love how big you're getting. I watch. I'm paying attention. You're getting bigger every week. People are not talking about you. Everyone on my faction now knows about you. Everyone knows. You keep getting there, man. You keep chugging, and I really do love that. I knew. You got a special way of looking at this whole scenario that I really appreciate, and I knew people would dig you. Just keep going, buddy. And I appreciate that you were first. You were the first guy in. For the people for your new fans, and there's many of them, this motherfucker reached out to me back when I wasn't even in the Schmoedown. And a friend of mine had to tell me, a personal friend from around the way had to tell me, like, there's a guy on Facebook looking to interview you. And I thought you wanted to goof on me or something. Like, I didn't believe it. Like, why? What? That seems like a bad idea. And I almost said yes to it just to see, like, like if someone's setting a trap for you,
right.
You should respect them enough to spring the trap.
Right.
I thought you were crazy, and then no, and here we are. You are the beginning of the Saul show, and all the terrible things I'm about to say to you during the show. You should remember that I still love you.
Well, I will never forget that. And to be honest, most of the things that you will say about me are probably deserved. I did have something I wanted to talk to you about real quick before we bring the other guys in. Now, you and I have talked about the Schmoedown for a while behind the scenes, and you know that I can find very small things to pick on.
No shit.
Yes. And I'm not picking on this one. I'm not making a bold statement about this one. I just want to ask you, because I had my thoughts on it. Did you have any thoughts at all about Humphrey's pronunciation of Kira when he said Kira Knightley and he said Kiera?
No, I don't have an issue with it. If I had an issue with it, I would have challenged it. Did anyone have a problem with the way I spelled Kira? because
you spelled it right.
No, I don't think I did. I don't think I spelled anything right, and I don't give a shit. That's something because you don't get extra points for spelling correctly in the Schmoedown. You do get a point if you answer the question in the right amount of time. And I did nip a few vowels and consonants here and there and some words. And I'm aware of this, and I don't give a shit. I'm going to do it again. You try to write Jean-Claude Van Damme in 5 seconds. I dare you.
And I mean, and like I said, I'm not going to harp on it, man. I just wanted to know your opinion on it, and now I do.
There's nothing wrong. There's no other actress named Kiera Knightley. He knew the actress. It was Keira Knightley. He knew it. And now Peggy's my friend. Oh, hey, how you doing, Peggy?
Very fair, very fair. Before we bring the boys on, I have one last thing. I saw you on Let's Get Ready last night.
Who else is here from my faction? I can't see whatever you're seeing.
Thomas Harper is in there.
The Major.
Okay. You were hot last night, and you were talking about.
I'm hot every day.
What?
No, you make me feel uncomfortable with that all the time. Oh, you mean hot like heated? Okay.
No, I meant like sexy. Like I like sex appeal, man. I'm big into the sex appeal, and you got it. I'm also part German and part Irish, so I'm a hairy bastard too. So I'm digging the beard and hair.
Fun fact: I'm not a hairy bastard. This is not indicative of the rest of it.
Oh, okay.
We're getting personal on the Jcast Network.
No, but actually, I'm very excited. Next week we have Baby Heel Hannah coming on the show. I've been wanting to talk to him for a very long time.
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
Well,
he's going to be like a guest?
I just wanted to know we've got him coming on next week. I was curious if maybe you had anything you'd like to say, and I will get his response to it next week.
No, everything I got to say to Brandon Hannah, I'm going to say to him. Trust me. He'll know everything I want to express to this human. It will be expressed to him clearly and concisely. Trust me. I also think it's adorable. He's back to his whole bullshit on Twitter. He's playing games, spending hours looking for just the right gif. He's out there screwing around, talking shit about me. Eric Zipper is probably locked in Winston's basement right now, sparring with Dandapani every day. They probably got the director's cut of Wrath of Khan on a loop while Dandapani's spitting trivia questions at Eric Zipper. Eric Zipper could beat him without that, and he's talking about me. So Brandon Hannah, yet again, showing me his hyper focus. Brandon Hannah was talking about me in the lead up to the Damon match, and we know how that ended. So this guy, he doesn't have the mental discipline. He doesn't have the performance discipline to overcome these challenges. We've seen it time and time again with him. He's doing it right now. You go to his Twitter timeline. He's got some jerk off gif about me. There you go. Do you know? Again, Eric Zipper's not gifting me right now. Eric Zipper right now is getting ready to kill him, and that's Brandon Hannah whistling through the graveyard yet again. And you know what, Brandon, you gotta beat Eric, or else they'll never let me kill you. So you need to start focusing. I'm going to start helping Brandon study. Maybe that's how we do this. Maybe I fly out there and I get into his little studio apartment that he has there, and I just sit on his couch and I just start firing questions at him. He probably won't let me in the premises, though. So maybe I just start writing like Star Trek questions and taping them to rocks and just throwing them through his window. I need this schmuck to win. Quit screwing around, Brandon.
Actually, we have Brandon Hannah on the line right now. Baby Heel, dude, again.
That's the funniest line that guy's ever had.
Dude, can we just have a conversation? Okay, I'm sorry. I can't handle it. I had to cut him off. Once again, he can't ever call into this show without crying. I don't understand it. But next week, he will be on the show, like on camera on the show.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And we'll see how that goes.
Fucking tragedy. Sorry.
But let's go around the horn here. We'll start with Soda, work our way down to Double D, Maple Dan, back up to me. Let's get in a little bit of Schmoedown talk with Saul here.
Soda, you got Soda, Double D, Maple Dan. Like this really, you guys. What are you, the outsiders? Fucking Coppola flick?
Funny enough, that is kind of where I got the nickname. It started off as Soda Pop. Yeah, it started off as Soda Pop because of the amount of pop I drank on my first day of a job I had, and then it just got trimmed down to soda, and it's been like that ever since.
Pop, you really are Canadian, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Well, stay golden, guys. Let's go with these questions. I got a place to be.
Yeah, fair point. Actually, if one of you guys, my mind's blank on a question. If one of these other guys wants to take it first.
Oh, Soda! You put on the spot and you fold. I don't know.
Well, to be
I don't know about the Soda guy.
Full disclosure, I'm actually a little intimidated by you.
Yeah, well, you're gonna
just because of how real you are. Yeah, well, exactly. I will have something, hopefully.
Well, we all wait with bated breath, Soda Pop. Look, life's full of opportunities.
Look at that young man.
Oh,
yeah,
young man. That was 2.5 years ago.
That's what you get for waking me up at 10:30 at night. I'm 42, dude. I'm freaking old.
Yeah, but you're 42, but you look, like 53 at least.
Okay, I do have a question because we know you're focusing on the IG and some of that. Has there ever been any discussion about you actually jumping into a singles division?
No comment.
Okay.
Within 2 seasons, you are definitely going to be in Star Wars. Maybe not next season, but the season after that, you will be jumping in Star Wars. I know.
Let me explain. Let me learn you guys what's going on with Star Wars in the Den. I was talking to Lacey Gilliran the other day on the phone. She gets another call. She's like, I got to go. I'm like, I'm a big deal. You should be talking to me. She's like, you are. I get it. But that was Favreau. I need to explain something to him. I go, okay, go ahead. Wrap that up. That's the type of level the Den is bringing. I don't even know that Star Wars. I'm not even Jay. I know we've talked about that a lot with me and Star Wars. The desire will always be there, but the Den is doing something very different this year with their Star Wars. And I'm telling you, these sparring sessions that I've been in with Lacey Gilliran and Thomas Harper are frightening. And this is going to be this is like, next as a competitor and as a fan of the Schmoedown, next level competitors when you see them. You might not be able to explain what they do differently, but a next level guy or girl when you see them. It's more like you can feel it than see it. And I am almost every day in my text box and Twitter, on StreamYards and sparring sessions, I get to see it all the time. I am surrounded by elite level Schmoedown competitors first who happen to play in Star Wars. And it is a lot of fun. And that Star Wars division, if you thought that was something last year, you ain't seen shit. Wait till they unleash Gilliran and Harper. I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing all the rookies play, especially the ones that have all the hype around them.
You got no idea. I can't wait for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see Lacey Gillian because, like you, she's in my draft. So she's in my fantasy draft. So thank you for giving me 4 points this week.
Thanks for not giving me any point. No,
taking a point away from Jay.
That came off really bad. I can't believe I said to Saul's face, "Hey,
Shocking.
Thanks a lot for winning, asshole."
Shockingly, Jay Wade comes off poorly. To the surprise of no one.
Dude, you were my next pick in the fantasy draft, and Double D down here swooped in and got you right before I did.
So you just admitted you fucked up. You said you had a pick initially, and then it wasn't me. And then what happens is Double D takes an extra point because that's what Saul does. I am the negative zone for players. I'm taking all your points. I'm taking points you don't even have. That's what I'm up to this season. I'm taking points you don't have yet. In fact, it's coming. In fact, Harloff told me to look out for a FedEx. They're sending me the actual point that Coy would have had. I'm going to put it on the wall. Looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
We got a stereo comment here. Let's see what we've got going on.
Hey, Saul. It's Dagan. How you doing?
Hey, Dagan, what's up?
I just got to say, man, I've been a fan of yours since that first time you called into Collider Live.
Yeah.
I'm fully on board, signed up participant for the Saul show this season. And I think you're going to do great things, man. I think before the season is over, both Chandru and Brandon Hanna deserve a thrashing from you. You hear me? A fucking thrashing. Can't wait to see it, man.
Hell yeah.
That Dagan knows what's what. He's true. Yes, that's true. That dude has been. That's another early adapter. I know Dagan from his. I knew him for months and months as like that's Rolling Stone's avatar. That's how I knew Dagan. That's so weird that like I literally just Rolling Stone. I referred to me and another member of my team were talking about fans earlier this week, and we were talking about Dagan, and we were calling him Rolling Stone's avatar. That's how weird this space is. I love Dagan. I appreciate the words, buddy.
That's great. Hey, quick question, Saul. Do you have a few minutes to stick around a little bit longer, run a little bit late, or you got to get going?
This is your thing. You always do this to me. It's always like, I'll get you in 10 minutes. Yeah, what do you got?
Well, I was just going to keep going around the horn here. Let these guys get something else in.
Yeah,
I know
I've got a question.
Got to be sitting on a good one.
I've got a question about like
make it good. Everyone's looking at you.
You're probably playing Hannah or Zipper next, and after that, they're gonna give you the loser of Damon and Barbarian. It's almost definite. Who do you think that's going to be, and how are you preparing for like those matches that are coming up? Like you're done playing with the rookies and the Hannahs of the world. You're moving up.
My preparation will be identical. I won't change my preparation for a Craig Gaynor or Brandon Hanna or an Amaru Moses. It doesn't matter who they throw at me next. My preparation will be identical to what it always is because my preparation is perfect. I had to this has been tested lately where I had to fundamentally alter it, and I still came in and got a win, despite the fact I had to dramatically change my rigid schedule. I now have a much more flexible schedule, and my preparation is what separates me from other competitors. I'm not sure I'm the most talented trivia player in the league. I'm just a fucking lunatic. I'm obsessed with getting better. And I do this to myself in real life all the time where I just find something I'm not good at and I love it. I love being in that basement and I love just figuring out plans and figuring out schemes to get out of the basement and stand on top of the roof. And that's what I'm doing with the Schmoedown. I'm utterly obsessed with it. My preparation will be exactly the same for Craig, Alex, Damon, whoever you want to send at me. You're not going to, they don't listen to me. God damn it. I'm not a peasant, Maple Dan. I don't play like a peasant, like everyone else in this division seems to. I will show up like a knight on horseback and I will slay and decapitate whoever they put in front of me. And I will do that my way. No one will dictate to me how I prepare.
Okay,
I don't know, Maple Dan. I don't know. Maple Dan pisses me off.
I have a better question than the last one because the last one was kind of a panic question. So, what is there a difference in Kate's managerial style this year compared to last year, where it was her first season and she had Grace helping her? Is there a different approach with her, or is it the same?
She's improved, and she's improved. The confidence that she knows how to do this now is now there. It's more apparent. She's clear. We have a much, and this was just something that time was going to give us, was just a greater familiarity that we have with each other. We have a shorthand with each other that is sterling, which is appropriate because I am the sterling one. I am the one everyone wants to look at because I'm the shiny object. So that is perfect. Our communication is top notch. She can tell me things other people probably wouldn't be able to get away with. She says things to me on the reg that I'd probably smack somebody upside the head for even thinking.
Damn.
So that's an important person. I need those people in my life. And again, that win is a direct result of Kate Mulligan's managerial. She made an executive decision during my training camp for John Humphrey that saved that match for me.
Right
so
on.
Kate, it's just the familiarity and the communication's better. That's really it. She's still great. She's the greatest manager in the Schmoedown. She does things better than any other manager does that people, again, shows like this don't even get to talk about.
Awesome.
Right.
Yeah. Big fan of Kate's here. You know that too.
Yeah.
She's great. She's also always been very supportive and generous. We are going to wrap it up here, Saul. Any final words that you would like to go out with before we do wrap up?
Maple Dan, give me another question. I don't like that. That last one wasn't your best. I know you got better questions lying around.
All right. What do you think of the introduction of so many new categories? Both, like, some of them were questions from previous years, but we've got a ton of new categories. Is that an edge for somebody like you, or is that what you're referring to when you say you had to expand and change your study regimen?
No, my study regimen didn't expand, Maple Dan. I did have to alter it, but there was nothing. It wasn't. I didn't add anything more to the workload. It was how I processed the information had to change a little bit. My accuracy, I think by accident, my accuracy probably jumped 8 to 10 points because of these new questions. You're going to give me, I'm not going to tell you what, but it was. If that was, if you think adding these movies was in some way, shape, or form going to temper a player like me, maybe slow me down, knock a few points off my points per average, stat, you are misinformed. I saw those new movies coming in. At first, it was a little overwhelming. It was like, you know what? I felt like I was just about to win a pie eating contest. And then Harloff comes out with a chef's hat with more pies. I ate a lot of pie here. I ate a lot of Lord of the Rings, Star Wars pie here. Now you're telling me, T800 pies on the way. But once, that was the initial reaction for like a day or two. And then when I realized, like, I'm going to accidentally be better in this division, like without having to try. I grew up wallowing in the new movies. Like, these are my movies. I I'm not intimidated at all. I don't have a problem with this at all. I love the new movies. I love the new slices. A lot of the new slices are just movies that were already there, repackaged. Love it. We saw Spider-Man in my match. We saw Planet of the Apes. That was a singles match, but we saw Spider-Man in my match. We saw Batman in the when the rookies jerked the curtain there last week, and that to me is really, really exciting. And I love the expansion, and you won't hear a complaint out of me.
Hell yeah. Thank you very much, Saul, for your time and for invading this show and making it the Saul Show. I'm always happy to be on.
Instead of Speaking of Schmoedown, it's now Speaking of Saul.
Speaking of Saul.
That's it. That's the best thing I heard on this whole interview. Soda knows what's what. Maple Dan redeemed himself like a phoenix, too. I love that question, Maple Dan. We're friends again.
Do you want to let folks know where they can find you on the social media?
Schmoedown Saul on Twitter and Stereo. By the way, I've been quiet on Stereo because of training. I'm in the middle of training camp right now for my next match. Actually, I took a light week for various personal reasons, but I'm gonna be doing something. There's gonna be an actual Saul show on Stereo very soon. I have to fit it into my schedule. Continuing to terrorize the Inner Geekdom division is my top priority right now, and it has to be. And I'm sure that anybody who would probably listen to my Saul show on Stereo probably understands and respects that. So I know you guys don't need me to apologize for that. Saul show's coming soon. Follow me on Stereo anyway. I just pop up from here to there. But when the storm clouds clear a little bit, I'll be more active on Stereo. Schmoedown Saul on Stereo and Twitter. I'm running around on Twitter. I'm going to start talking way more shit to people on Twitter, I think. So it's going to be a lot of fun for everybody involved.
Excellent. Soda, our guest producer, helping us out because Frenchie away this week. Where can the folks find?
Yeah, where's French? Hang on, where's Frenchie? What is he? What didn't he cancel to be on with me?
He's top.
Yeah, too, man. He was intimidated. He's just intimidated by you.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just listening to you talk, and it's like more and more I'm convinced you're the Rowdy Roddy Piper of the Schmoedown. Don't throw rocks at somebody with a machine gun.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
But anyways, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxman. You can find me on Schmoes of the North. They're weekly on our shows. You can also find me on the Media Sweaties Network weekly on the various shows I'm on there as well. And I just want to throw out a special plug. It just went live, but Mount Schmoedown has now merged with us, and their shows will be on our channel. And their very first show under the Schmoes of the North banner is live right now. So once we're done here, if you just want to go pop in and like and subscribe to that, it'd be much appreciated.
Hey, do me a favor. If I got to play Don DePani this season, which is likely, I need Schmoes of the North to work your magic yet again. Can you fucking do that? Can you?
We will do our damn best.
And you guys are like the witches in Macbeth when it comes to Don DePani. I don't know what happened there.
Me neither, but it kicked the door wide open, and we're grateful for it.
Schmoes of the North did more damage to Don DePani than Brandon Hanna did in 2 matches. It's great.
Yeah, and it was all happy accident, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, I can't listen to you guys talk about yourselves anymore. I find it weird. So I'm out of here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. See you later, Saul.
Saul. Double D. Where can the folks find you at, man?
You can find me on Twitter and on Stereo at Dan Dolinsky. Simple as that. Running the numbers you can find me here on Saturdays, running the numbers for the Schmoedown. And I do want to also mention, we are well aware of the 2 rules on the rule book that involves Jay's hard question to Saul, which completely makes it moot. So we are aware of that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's on page 13. Go check it out.
Yeah, it's like I said, I'm not going to make an issue of it. It's just, Maple Dan, go through your whatchamacallit.
Yeah. Much like Soda, you can find me on Schmoes of the North on our Facebook page, our YouTube page, all of those. And you can find my personal Twitter. I just threw it down here next to my head. It's Avengers_SOTN. That's Avengers with a little Canadian EH. And you can also find my own show on both Schmoes of the North and on various podcasting platforms called the Best TV Show Podcast, where I sit down with a friend and guest to just talk about their favorite TV show. And we sit down for an hour to 90 minutes. We talk about themes, characters, all sorts of things. And then the second half is a deep dive discussion into one particular season of the show and why it speaks to them so much. My release schedule has been a bit rough since my first episode, but I got my second one. I'm editing it as soon as we close this, and it'll be up as soon as it's ready as well.
And I do want to throw a shout out to his name for his podcast, because if you pay attention, it actually reveals what his favorite show is.
Indeed. And that can be found at the BTVS Pod on Twitter.
Excellent. And y'all can find me on the Twitter at jwade1134. That is the letter J, WADE 1134. You can find me at that same handle on Stereo. Also on the Twitter, the Jcast Network, which has this show on it currently now. And we'll start putting out, I'm going to start putting out Star Wars shows when Disney Plus starts releasing more Star Wars shows, starting with Bad Batch here in May. And big announcement coming. I'm not going to say anything just yet, but there's another show that's going to be starting on Jcast Network. And also you can find the Jcast Network on Stereo as well, where we broadcast this show live there simultaneously as we do on YouTube. And also Speaking of Schmoedown on Facebook. If you're on the road or whatever and you're a Facebook junkie, you can catch the live streams there and clip outs or the full show after it is aired. Everyone, thank you very much on screen for your help. Thank everyone in the chat on YouTube for your support. And thank everyone on Stereo for your support. We have Brandon Hanna coming up this coming week. And the question is, will I do that to his face?
You probably will.
We'll have to wait and find out. But yeah, for now, everyone, thank you very much. Enjoy this week of Schmoedown content as it drops. Big pay-per-view coming this week. And yeah, until then, everyone be safe and have a great, great day. You want to hear something funny? The mic wasn't on that whole time.
No way.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, wow.
So smooth.